We're live. Welcome to the All Balls No Filter podcast, live from the cabin kitchen. I'm Zach. He's Brad.
Hello there.
And behind the scenes, we have a man fresh off international break, and apparently he came back with clear eyes, full heart, and it feels like he can't lose. It's Researcher Cal.
Researcher Cal, baby.
We're here. How are you doing, mate?
I'm all right. It feels like it's been a long time. I mean, not for me and you because we chat all the time, but it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks since the last pod. That's my fault. To those that do and have been listening regularly to the pod, full-time job took precedent last week, unfortunately. So we took a week out. Not a major thing. It's not been crazy, has it, the last couple of weeks? But
No.
Better late than never. So we're back and we're here, and we'll try and catch up, won't we, mate?
That's it. I'm not gonna lie. I feel better. The last time we were on the pod, I was a bit under the weather. I had a few comments training. One of the guys, I think it was Jack, actually came up to it training and were like, "I watched back to the pod and you looked like you were going to die." And I'm like, "Yeah, I felt like I was going to die." So credit to the cause that we were there. But I feel loads better now. We're here. We're chilling. Long weekend. As it is. As well with that, I'm not making excuses again, but if you can hear any sort of weather in the background, any noise that you don't normally hear, I feel like I'm in the eye of an hurricane right now. It's come out of nowhere, this weather. I am getting shaken about like no rate, so I apologise in advance for that. But Brad,
mate, I drove home today. It was obviously drove home from work about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Fine, no issues. I'm in my house at about 6 o'clock. I'm like, what on earth is that noise? I'm looking out the window and it's absolutely biblical.
Yep.
Biblical out of nowhere. Yep. Crazy.
Yeah, I can feel it shaking about. And actually, above my head here, if you're listening to this, by the way, we do have videos that go on our YouTube and on Spotify. Go check them out. We put a lot of work into them. It helps us out. But you can see right above my head here, I've got like a little dream catcher and it is just shaking around like no rate. So I apologise on that. But Brad, what do we have in store for today's episode? I've got a feeling it's going to be quite a busy one, if I'm going to be honest with you.
It's going to be a busy one because we've obviously got 2 weeks to catch up on. Probably won't catch up on every single news item there is because a lot of them are drab, but we will touch on the biggest news items from the NFL. We're going to have our very, very first All Balls No Filter power ranking, which I'm really, really excited about. This is going to be an exciting one. And as you've found over the last few weeks, if you are a regular listener, our rugby league feature, I Can't Speyk. And of course, we cannot forget all other balls. So let's get to it, shall we, mate?
That's it. Right, we're going to get stuck into the headlines for this week. So, a couple of big headlines coming in. We're going to touch on them briefly now, and then we're going to get into deep dive into them in a little bit. But JSN has been paid. He signed a mega deal, which is going to set the bar for the rest of the wide receivers. We'll touch on that in just a second. Travis Kelce also signs for 3 more seasons. Bullshit. That is going to do all them. But yeah, he's signed a contract that will see him out for the next 3 seasons in Kansas. The Buccaneers linebacker Levante David has retired after, I believe, 14 seasons, but don't quote me on that. I think I saw that online. And the former Colts wide receiver T.Y. Hilton has retired as well. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I saw this come up and I thought to myself, well, I thought he retired years ago. Genuinely...
where's he been the last few years?
Exactly, right. It came out, I think it was just one of them, I'm going to retire now because I can't get on a squad type thing. Look, credit where credit's due. He was a very underrated receiver. He was, and he was rated right highly as well, if that makes sense. But I don't think he was. I don't think he was rated as big as what he should have been. He was a great wide receiver, absolutely fantastic wide receiver in my opinion.
He was always one of those for me on fantasy where I think I had him for multiple years on the bounce, and he was just one of those steady point producing fantasy receivers. He was never like blockbuster. He might have the odd game. But then he sort of fell off the face of the earth this last year or two. I honestly could not tell you where he's been or if he's even been anywhere. Has he been out for the last season and then retired? I genuinely have no idea.
I was scrolling through, I think it was X at the time when I saw it come up saying T.Y. Hilton announced his retirement, and I genuinely thought it were one of them parody accounts, like, you know, them super late NFL news accounts that give you things like 4 years later. I thought it were one of them, but no, he's retired. He's done from there. So they're the main kind of headlines from this past couple of weeks. Apologies if we've missed any, but they're the ones that have stuck out to us more than anything else. But Brad, there is a couple that I do want to deep dive into, and that's the trades and the contracts that are happening around the NFL right now. Okay, so the first one from me that is a bit, you know, I think it's a bit quite close to your heart, that we're gonna be talking about is that Jalen Waddle has gone to the Broncos, or I should say, Jalen waddled to the Broncos. You know what I'm saying? He's gone there for a first, third, and a fourth for Waddle, and a fourth in return. What's your initial view, being a Dolphins fan, on this trade?
It's kind of mixed because you don't want to get rid, like Waddle. I've always really valued Waddle. I think he's a great player. He's had, some really big seasons. He's had a couple of quieter seasons, but even quiet, like they're solid. And I think it's a shame to see him go. It is, because he's been one of those big names of the last. I mean, I couldn't even tell you when he was drafted now, actually. Like, off the top of my head, I can't remember what year it was he was drafted. But, you know, of the last sort of 5 years or so, yeah, bang, nailed it. Thank you, Research Cal. 2021, so the last 5 years, he's been that name that's kind of... It was almost like that new... It was part of that rebuild of the Dolphins. And he's been great, and he's a great player, and he's never been one of those controversial players. He's never put a foot wrong. He's never really said the wrong thing. He's never thrown anyone under the bus. He's never made any sort of like AJ Brown style comments or whatever. And I'm gutted to see him go, but at the same time, I think considering that other teams can see what the Dolphins are doing, and they can see that it's a full rebuild, to get a first, third, and then basically a fourth swap. So a first and a third, let's say, for Waddle. I think actually it's not bad business. It is really not bad business. And I think going by that Green Bay mantra that Sully obviously has come from, and he said we're going to do. He said we're going to draft. That's what we're going to do. We're going to build from the draft, and then we'll sort of support that with free agency signings. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, and I'm sure Research Cal will start chipping away in the background, but the sort of draft capital that we've got just for this year is solid. We've got a lot of picks this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we use them, because we're not going to take a quarterback this year.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we signed Malik Willis. Like, I'd be very, very shocked if we take a quarterback in the draft this year. I think, you know, the quality of the quarterback market in the draft this year is pretty poor anyway. There's quite a big drop-off after your first, maybe second pick, because there's a bit of talk about the top two recently in the last week or so.
Yeah.
So we're not going to take a quarterback, and if we do, it'll just be a late-round punt. But it's almost, can you use this capital now this year to build the trenches, to build those key holes, you know, replace those holes that we've got all over the place now. And then next year, again, you smash the draft, probably take a quarterback next year, and then see how the couple of years after that go. You know, Cal's just put a picture in now. We've got 2 firsts, a second, 4 third rounders, which is massive. A 4th, a 5th, and 2 7ths. So a real ransom of picks there, which is really, really good, and it's a good place to have, assuming you can hit on them. That's the ticket.
Yeah, you could definitely find some gems in them third rounds. Now, for me, this trade is the Dolphins walking into the Broncos office and just pulling the pants down. Like, I'll give you that. I'll give you Waddle's a great receiver, but he's not a first, third, and a fourth receiver in my opinion. Like, I don't think he's worth that value. I think Miami have pulled an absolute blinder here by walking into there and walking out what they've got. I genuinely do. I don't see him as that valuable as a target if for the seasons to come. Now, don't get me wrong. There's not many. I mean, I think personally, AJ Brown's a better receiver, and they could have got him for the same price.
But I think that's the thing, though. It comes back to what I'd literally just said about positives about Waddle. He's not a disruptive presence, and he easily
That's
could have
fine.
been. Whereas you've got AJ Brown, who has repeatedly in 2 teams now caused controversy, caused drama. And you've got the Broncos now who've got Sutton, they've got Waddle, they've got Bryant, like Marvin Mims Jr. They've got a real receiver room there now for Bo Nix, and they've
got mouths to feed. And can they feed all these mouths? That's the thing. Like, I just think it's a lot to throw when you hadn't a decent room as what it already was, if that makes sense. Like, I don't get me wrong, like, I am not taking anything away from Miami. I think Miami have walked out of this trade the winners here massively. I'm not saying Waddle's a bad receiver. He is definitely up there in the top category of the receiving corps within the NFL. I'm not debating that. I just don't think he is worth what they've paid for him this time round. I really don't. Like, I don't think it's miles off, but I wouldn't say. I just don't think it's first, third, and a fourth. So you can kind of get rid of the fourth. That being said, though, that's just looking on paper at a first, third, and a fourth. The first itself is pick 30. So that is basically a second round pick. And with this year's draft, outside of the top 10, what are you realistically getting quality-wise? There's a lot of talk in this draft not being the one as such. You get them every few years where there's just a draft that's outside that top 10. There's not many people there that you kind of want to build around. But I think it was the initial shock of seeing that first, third, and fourth for Waddle. Like, I just think it's a lot of value there for him. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm intrigued if I hope we don't. And I'd like to think he's someone we'll build the whole team around, especially with having no receivers at the minute. But I'd be interested to see what Achane gets if we ended up trading him. If that's what Waddle's picked up, obviously there's the running back sort of depreciation value, but I'm hoping we don't get rid of Achane. Like, Malik Willis has got no receivers to throw to at the minute, so I'm hoping they've got their eyes on a few big receivers in the draft. I don't pretend to be an expert on college ball, so I hope they've got some big names there lined up with some of those picks. But if they do move on from Achane, like, I'd expect a similar haul, which would be a good haul for a running back.
Yeah, of course.
Fingers crossed we keep him and build around him. That's what I'm hoping.
That's it. And if you do get rid of him, you're going to have an absolute shed load of picks to play around with. Now, this is where your backroom staff come in to earn the money. It's how you use these picks and go from there, because you can trade. And you look at Cleveland and Jets over the past few years, they've had quite a few picks, and it's not necessarily always the best thing when you're putting all your eggs in kids, basically. And do you trade them or whatever. But look, we'll see how it gets on. The initial shock to me was like, what do you do? Like, it's just I thought there were a lot of value there. There's another trade that's happened, and a trade that, in my opinion, makes a lot of sense for me, and that is Justin Fields to the Chiefs. Gone there for a 6th round pick, and the 6th round pick is not until 2027. It's not even going to affect this year's draft coming around. It's next year's draft. So it's 2027 pick, Fields to the Chiefs. This immediately screams to me that Mahomes' leg is worse than what they first thought, because they're considering an actual backup, not just someone to start the first game. And they've gone scheming another mobile-ish QB to try and keep the same playbook and replicate the same plays as what Mahomes can do, basically.
I think it's a good signing. I think it's a really good signing. They've got him for next to nothing. I don't know what the details are around salary and stuff like that, but like, I think it's a solid backup. I think he's probably going to start the season. He's probably going to get a few games in there. The mobility, yeah, absolutely. He is a different quarterback. I know we talk about them both as kind of mobile, but he is a different quarterback. I'm not talking just about skill, style of play and stuff. I think it's solid. I think it's a spot-on deal for both teams. Jets have got short of fields, which was always going to happen. They get a late pick back. They're not going to get much back for him. I'm surprised they've got that, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs get, I think, a solid backup. I think he'll do what they need him to do, especially with the sort of play callers and coaches around him that have obviously proven to be able to do good things. Clearly, I think it's solid.
So is it the benchmark? I'd say what's the date in which Mahomes is not back up the City out for the season? Because you've got to think. We're going to talk about the Kelsey deal very soon, and I think this kind of plays into why Kelsey's done 3 years rather than just done a 1 year contract to see himself out there. I think if Mahomes is not back by mid-November, he sits out the rest of the year because there's no point hurting him anymore.
I mean, the general target from what I've seen is that he's back for week 1. Like, that's what he's said publicly, I think, is that rehab's going well and he'll be back for week 1. If he's saying that, I can't see him being out until November. I know it's NFL mind games, but I also, if they're saying he's going to be back week 1, surely another 2-3 months after that is a bit steep.
And I get that.
How the season goes.
Yeah, exactly that. But then at the same time, Kelsey won't retire under Fields. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see him retiring under Fields. He'll be retiring. He'll want his last game to be with Pat. But like, I don't know. I see this as this is a solid backup and solid choice. I think Justin Fields in the right team could be a really good QB. I think with this signing here is a bit of a, we're gonna just get someone while they're at market for next to nothing, just in case. Because if we're not, then we're gonna be up creek without a paddle again. And we don't want that. We don't want Minshew Mania for the 15th time because it don't work. So let's get somebody else in there. So Fields to the Chiefs, great signing there. We'll touch on Travis Kelce now, actually, coming off the back of the Chiefs there. 3 years, $54.7 million over them 3 years. He ain't seen 3 years out. He ain't got 3 more years left in him. I'm surprised he's got more than 1 year, and I'm surprised. I think if Pat Mahomes is fit and healthy and doesn't snap his leg in half like he did last year, I think he signs a 1 year contract and retires out at the end of the year. Personally, I think he's only signed 3 years. In fact, just before you joined the call, me and Carl were talking about this, and Carl were like, it's probably a cap space thing. But I'm like, he's still affecting this year's cap with 12. I think it's 12 million is guaranteed this year or something. The rest is in incentives. It's still this year, like, why sign a contract for 3 years when you're not going to be there for 3 years?
I just think it gives him the option. I think he's just in this, I think he wants to go out, with a Super Bowl. He wants that glory story. And the beauty of retiring is, obviously, if a player retires, unless I'm getting it completely wrong, I'm almost certain if a player retires, they don't then actually impact the cap hit. So let's say I don't know, I'm just plucking numbers out of my ass here. Let's say he's got 20 million due. So he plays the next season, 2026 into 27, and then 2027 season he's due 20 million, but he retires before.
Yeah. The
Chiefs don't then take that as a cap hit, as far as I'm aware. So I think it just gives Kelsey, I think it's a goodwill gesture from the Chiefs, is what I think it is. And I think it's Kelsey saying, I honestly don't know how I feel. In his head, he's saying, I want to go out on top, but it might not happen. So I'm going to give myself 3 years to play with. I don't see him finishing 3 years. I don't.
No.
I think it'll be this year, next year at most, and I mean absolute most. But then there's the ego there. There's the ego because he's declined this last couple of years. He's accepted that himself. If you listen to the New Heights podcast, which is a great podcast, by the way, I'd recommend it to anyone. He kind of has alluded to the fact that he's not at his peak anymore, but he still thinks he's got a lot to give, and he probably has. It's just the Chiefs the last couple of years haven't been what they've been like across the board. is he the peak Kelsey? No, he's absolutely not.
Yeah.
But was Gronk the peak Gronk at Bucks? No. But was he impactful? Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Of course.
So
I think as well with Kelsey, I think he offers more off the field than we'll ever see in terms of the experience, and that he's still got that youthful mentality to teach the newcomers and the new guys how to kind of embrace this lifestyle and being part of the Chiefs. But at the same time, he's got that older head on where he's been there, done that, got t-shirt. Yes, it's great, but the fall off is there. Look, it's a nothing deal for me. He's going to retire out there. He's probably covering himself. They're probably just covering himself to make sure he don't retire somewhere else. He'll retire a Chief. I think if Pat Mahomes is fit, it's a different story. But yeah, Kelsey signed a new deal. So good luck to him on that one. We'll see how that plays up by the end of this year. Talking of deals, JSN has been paid. He has now set the standard for the top flight wide receivers. 4 years, 169 million. Jesus. I mean, don't get me wrong. The guy's had a season where he's deserved this paycheck. But what has this done now in terms of setting the standard for wide receivers getting paid? Research, if you could just find us out quite quickly, where does this stand in terms of pay, like guaranteed money? It's top now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, guaranteed. I'm not sure, but he's the highest paid receiver in NFL history, and it blows my mind. There's two parts to me for this. It's like kind of like that QB market. It's the next man up sort of mentality. Like next one's going to get paid the most. Next one's going to get paid the most. When you're talking about your top end. There's also a good bit of business here, I think. Research Cal's just said 120 million guaranteed money,
Jesus.
Which is massive.
Yeah,
that's
wow.
Massive. Realistically, looking at that, it's probably a 3-year contract with the 4th year, to negotiate probably. But when you're talking 40 mil a season, which even if you average the 4 years across, there's 170 across the 4 years, it's just shy of 40 mil average a season. You're talking quarterback money there. It's massive. But I think, does he deserve it? Like, this is the question I thought. Like, yes, he deserves to be paid. But is he the number one receiver? Yes, I'm not going to pretend to know the stats off my head, but was he one of the most impactful receivers last season? Yes, he absolutely was. But is he the best receiver in the NFL? There's a lot of debate there that can be had. I don't have the answer. It's all scenario based, isn't it? But
it's one of them for me. Yes, last year he was the best wide receiver in the NFL, but I don't think 1 year should get you the contract. I'm not saying prior to that he wasn't a great wide receiver, by the way. But what I'm saying is prior to last year he wasn't the best wide receiver in the NFL. That's what my take is on this, and I don't think 1 year should get you paid the most amount of money in the NFL. A couple of episodes ago, in fact, we actually named the episode after it. I made a statement about the NFL draft and athletes. Just when are they going to stop being athletes? At what point do they reach peak athleticism and the human body can't be any better because they're just getting better and better each year? At what point does the climate and the current market say that, okay, enough's enough with these contracts? Like, with Can't Speyk keeps going year in, year out or whatever it is. And they're paying these people. Like I said, we're now getting into QB money. And QBs are notoriously the highest paid people in the NFL. So when these next big money contracts come round, what sort of value is that going to be looking at? You're going to be looking at baseball style money soon, because like that's crazy money. Like, at what point is enough? Like, and I get it, they deserve to be paid a good, healthy chunk of money, but if I'm trying to think of a receiver off the top of my head, and now I'm talking about it, it's kind of gone a bit mind blank with it. But if you're a receiver that's coming into your... Puka Nacua is a prime example here, right? Puka Nacua, he could just sit out next year now until he gets paid. Because he's set this example now, and set this bar, this standard. And Puka, in my opinion, has been more impactful over the past 2 years than JSN has over the past 2 years. Not just last season, but over the past 2 years, Puka has been the better receiver and deserves that kind of paycheck. But now Puka's agent's going to sit there going, well, okay, let's sit down because my client needs paying now.
It's an interesting one though, isn't it? Because like, I think for me, Schneider's done an absolute stormer here because he could have actually, he's, 3 years into his rookie contract, so he could have had another year out of him.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he was a first round pick, wasn't he? So they could have had then the 5th year option on him. Unless I'm wrong, I can see research Cal typing. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure he was a first round pick. So they've got the first 4 years, then they could have had the 5th year option on him. But actually, Schneider's gone, you know what? We've got the money, we're going to reward you, and we're going to pay you. But I think the beauty in that is they are almost getting ahead of, well, actually, in 2 years' time, if I keep him on his 4th and then I just ride out his option in the 5th, I'm going to have to pay him even fucking more because, 3 other receivers have been paid. Whereas Puka, you've got, he's a 5th round pick for a start. I mean, he's absolutely blown up, so in terms of his value, he probably needs paying because he'll be getting way less than JSN was before getting paid anyway.
Yeah.
But you've got the Rams who have got a lot more people to pay for a start. And then you've got the worry with JSN about the cuckoo land that seems to be going on off his brain this last couple of months or so. So I don't know. I think it's a good bit of business for Seahawks. I really do. It'll be interesting though, like you say, especially with Puka, who was drafted the same year, to see how that plays out. I can't see him sitting out because obviously they don't get paid if they do.
No.
But it'd be interesting.
I can't see him sitting out because Puka's not that kind of guy. He's not that ego. He hasn't got that ego behind him. But it would just, more just the example side on it. He's not getting paid as much. But where does he set the standard? It's going to be so interesting these next 12 months in seeing where contracts go in areas. Because if you think about it, when the Barkley era of the running backs came around, he set a kind of precedent for how much them running backs and Zeke, how much them running backs were getting paid because the running backs were the core of the team, and now teams are now putting more money into wide receivers. But it not always works. If you look at the Bengals, it doesn't always work putting that money in the receivers when you've got nothing else around you. But anyway, it's nice. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to have a lot of talking points throughout it. But they're the main headlines from this past couple of weeks. If we missed anything, guys, please let us know in any comments in his DMs across all the socials at ABNFPod on all of the socials. If you want to come watch these videos, want to see my beautiful face and Brad's alright looking face, head over to our YouTube and our Spotify. There is videos to all of these wonderful shows that you listen to right now. But you might want to actually come and flick over to the visuals now, because we're going to talk about some uniforms, Brad. We have done the power rankings for the uniform we're going to get into in just a second, but there is a team that's rebranded themselves, okay, and we're gonna show the kit, and it's probably going to give away where I ranked this kit within my power rankings, in particular. But the Tennessee Titans have brought out a new kit, a new style of a new way of look. Right, it's on screen now. Right, Brad. First thoughts. What do you think of this?
I like it. I really like it. I think it's done exactly what it intended to do, and I love the fact that what it intended to do was to piss off Houston. I think, you know what, we'll touch on that shortly. Let's just look at it at face value first of all. I think the logo, first of all, is solid. It's still got that sort of Titans-esque to it. They've got rid of the stupid flames coming out of it, which was random as hell. I don't know what flames have got to do with Titans. Maybe that's just my naivety. But I think it's a really bold logo. And then I think the colours, and we'll not touch on the Oilers just yet, but I think the colours are really, really effective. That lovely sky blue has taken that sort of primary colour. So it used to be, their primary colour used to be the more navy, the darker blue. Yeah. And then they had the sky blue, I think, was secondary, and the red was in there as well. But they've shifted that around, so the navy blue's taken a real back seat. And I think that sky blue and the red and the white, it is a really attractive kit, and it's a really attractive rebrand. And on face value, I really like it.
Yeah, I love it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's really nice. I think I think that pastel kind of blue that stands out to you is great. But yeah, I agree with everything you said. The new look of the logo, the new look of the kit, it looks fine. I mean, don't get me wrong, pictures always look great. You know what I mean? Pictures always look as they are. But it's what's it called? Like it's one of them for me. I just think it looks nice. Like it looks good. I think it's gonna look good. I was gonna look on TV. We'll see. But yeah, shall we get into the power rankings?
I mean, we've seen it on TV though, haven't we?
Have we?
Like,
Where?
come on, let's not get into these power rankings like just yet. Like, I'm interested where you stand, and research Carl, please chime up in the background, and we'll share your views on this one. What's your view? Because let's just cut to the chase. It's Houston Oilers. Like, that's what they've gone back to. They've gone to Houston Oilers colours, like through and through. The logo isn't too dissimilar. Like, it's Houston Oilers. Now, there's 2 points of view here, and I'm not going to give my opinion. I'm interested what you and Carl think. There's 2 points of view. So, just a bit of history lesson for those that don't know. Houston Oilers were a team. They relocated to Tennessee, I think, was it late 90s, early 90s? I can't remember the exact year. And became the Tennessee Oilers for a very, very short amount of time. And then rebranded to the Tennessee Titans. Now, what you then got in this period of time is a new franchise, the Houston Texans, as you know now. And what you've probably seen over the last couple of years is the Houston Texans wearing the Oilers uniforms, or at least their colours and things like that, which is interesting because technically what is now the Tennessee Titans have the rights to that branding and the colours and stuff like that. But then the big argument is that basically, kind of like what the Browns did and upped and left and started the Baltimore Ravens. However, Cleveland owned the rights to the Browns, and this is the difference. Houston didn't own the rights to the Oilers and the colours and stuff like that. That was with the ownership. And I only learned that this week. I'd read about it and I'd heard it on another pod as well. And I think personally, these last 2 years, Houston have wore these colours, and this is Tennessee basically saying, no, sod you, these are our colours, this is our branding, this is our history, so we're going to make this our primary uniform, and if you now wear it, you're just going to look like an idiot because you're just wearing our colours.
Yeah, like, yeah. I love the shithousery behind it. And all the politics behind it is what I love. And I remember when we did it was the Super Bowl quiz. I was looking for. I said we were doing the quiz and we were doing the picture round, and I initially put the old Oilers logo on there, and someone actually came back who were proofreading it. Said what name do you take for this, because it could be one of 3 names realistically. And I was like, yeah, it's a very good point on that. But when I say, like, I'm excited to see it on TV, the quality of cameras, both photo and film, have kind of progressed so much over the years. I look at them pictures that's on our screen right now, and it looks just great. But then there's also been kits that in the past, like, you know, like the rivalry kits and the third kits and things like that, where I've seen the pictures and they've looked absolutely fire. And then you watch them on TV and it's a bit like, yeah, they're all right. Like, obviously, so much better on picture because they've just gone to a photo shoot. But yeah, it's one of them. I'm just looking forward to seeing it. Oh God, there's some wind knocking.
You know what?
Jeez.
You know what I like is that Callum's in the comments on our little chat, show chat, and I'm going to quote him here. Right, I'm just going to remind everyone that he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Yeah.
I don't like the logo. Too basic. Maybe would have looked better with red stars. Cal, the Steelers logo is a circle with 3 stars.
And this is why he's
a
not got a
logo
microphone.
with 3 stars. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I never said I like the Steelers logo. Fair play.
I'm sure. That's why I was looking away then a minute ago. I was trying to find it. I'm sure you were talking about the whole kind of Tennessee owning the rights, not Houston owning the rights. I'm sure the Titans played against the Texans in throwback jerseys at one point, and they went in the Oilers jerseys. And it was like the biggest kind of walk in there, and I'm sure that I could be completely wrong here. Like they walked in at the Texans ground and were like, "Yeah, look, we're wearing." Look at this.
No, it was the other. Was it not the other way? Was it not the Texans that wore Oilers colours? No,
I can't remember off the top of my head. I just remember it being one of the way around, and like you saying that, I didn't even think about the ode to the Oilers with the kind of pastel colours. I just looked at the colour and just liked it. I didn't even think of that link to it, but it would. I just love that kind of corporate shithouse. Like I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Anything that you would?
It was Tennessee. No, it was Tennessee. I'm just looking now. Apologies. It was Tennessee, and they wore the Oilers jerseys in Houston. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, although Houston have also played though in the sort of Oilers throwback sort of style unis that have just not had the Oilers branding.
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's a bit of a back and forth, and this, I think, is ultimate shithousery because it's just like, yeah, well, it's now our primary uniform, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. But speaking of uniforms, we've done some power rankings. So, Brad, you're going to take the lead on this. Explain what the power rankings are, how we've done these power rankings, and you let me know when you want them on the screen.
Yeah, so we were talking about the rebranding, and it was like, you know what? Let's just have a little look at just uniforms in general. Let's do our very, very first power rankings, and let's not look at teams and the quality of teams, blah, blah, blah. Let's just look at the aesthetics of teams. So what we've done between the 3 of us is, so that's me, Zach, and Researcher Cal. We have all privately, separately, non-sort of discussion-based, ranked from 32 to number 1 home uniforms of every NFL team. So no throwbacks, no away uniforms, not just looking at home jerseys. We have looked at the entire sort of standard home uniform for every single team. So I'm currently wearing the nicest jersey in NFL, maybe the second nicest jersey in NFL, but it's a throwback. So that doesn't count. So we've looked at the home uniforms and we've ranked them 32 to number 1. We've then done some really wonderfully difficult maths and averaged 3 numbers. But it did actually kick out. And what's impressive is when you look at our individual rankings, they were all over the place, but it kicked out quite a lot of ties. So where there is a tie, we've ranked them higher based on the highest ranking that someone gave them. So let's just say, hypothetically, 30, 29, and 28 were a tie, but Zach ranked number 28 first. That's the reason they're the highest ranked.
Right.
So we've got our rankings. We're going to approach them in groups of 8. So for those mathematicians out there, yes, that's 4 groups of 8. Well done. And we'll start with the worst 8, and we'll work our way up to the best 8. And I know this is contentious, so like, please get stuck into the comments. Like, hit us up on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. They are all at ABNF Pod. And why don't you share us your rankings or share us your top 10, whatever you want. But we'd love to see where you fit against us, because just looking at our rankings, they are absolutely all over the place.
Yes, they are. Yeah, this was a lot harder, by the way, than I thought it was going to be. I remember going through this list and I'm thinking, oh my God, like, I had like 5 teams at 32 here. I genuinely had 5 teams with the worst kind of uniform. But going through it was great. And I've not looked at anybody else's, right? And now
Did you start worst? Did you start at the worst, or did you start at the best?
Worst to best, and I got to around 20. And then I was like, right, I know my top 10, but I don't know my top 10 in order, so I'm going to put my numbers in my top 10, just so they're out of the way. And then I thought I'd finished the list, I'd run out of numbers, but I had 4 spaces. So I'd done like 3 of them, the same number or something. So, yeah, it took me a little while. But shall I get the first 8 on screen? Do you want me to get the first 8 on screen? Are you ready for that?
Yep, let's fire them up.
Bosh, there they go. The first 8 are on screen now. Well, okay. That's So at 32, we've got down as the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if I agree with that one, but okay. Well, yeah. I don't go through. Do you want to list out all the 8 back to back, and then finish strikeouts here?
Yeah, let's go. So Arizona Cardinals at 32. We got Cleveland Browns at 31. The Falcons at 30. New York Giants at 29, Washington Commanders 28, Houston Texans 27, Indianapolis Colts at 26, and Carolina Panthers at 25. Any that you hit on the money? Because I had a couple.
On the money, no. Where's Carolina? No, I were a couple out. Just a quick one. Houston Texans 27 is a war crime. And Atlanta Falcons at 30 is also a war crime. Everything else, I was roughly around that kind of ish, ballpark-ish. But yeah, I had them 2 teams a liar.
Both me and Cal had Falcons at 31. And they came out at 30 because you, Zach, had them at 12.
Yeah, because that's a real nice uniform.
12?
Yeah. It's a real nice uniform. Yeah, I'm all for that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I've got my reasons behind why it was high. I don't think it's a 12th nicest uniform. I just couldn't put 4 uniforms at 32. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just the nice of it's a lot nicer than some of the real bad ones, and there's some real bad ones. So yeah, I mean, rest of them though, I weren't too far off. I don't think I weren't too far off.
Just I want to, like, before we get any further into these power rankings, I want to highlight that Zach recently told me and some friends that he was wearing a black and green shirt, and there was worry because someone else had also planned to wear a black and green shirt, and it was the same brand, and it was described the same. And Zach pulled this said black and green shirt out. What colour was it, Zach?
Black and yellow, I think. Look, I'm colourblind, right? I'm colourblind, right? So my wife always just mental with me because I get dressed in dark a lot of the time. I'm colourblind. I thought it were black and green. There were 2 other people actually that was with us at the time that had the similar shirts, and we were all a bit worried that we were the same. I pulled it out.
Yeah, but they described the colours correct.
Yeah, I mean, I pulled it out, and one of his friends just went, "Why did we ever listen to the colourblind guy?" So yeah, okay. Well, yeah, look, but I mean, I know they're the colours of somewhat around the area, but yeah, I agree with most of this list so far. Like, there's 2 on there that I would personally take a bit higher, and I like a black jersey, you see, so that's why they were kind of pushed a little bit higher for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, yeah, I'm just taking bragging rights here. I hit Arizona Cardinals on 32. I hit Houston Texans, one of yours, on 27, and I hit Colts on 26 as well. So I'm quite happy with that.
I can't believe you had Cardinals
stand out
worse
for
than
me.
Browns.
It's just boring. Red is boring, man.
Red is boring. And this is why, if you look at all mine around 24, they're all the red ones. That's why I couldn't put 3 or 4 at the same rank, because I put all of the red ones together. Like,
at least Browns have like took a punt and they're like, you know what, we're gonna have poo brown, bright orange, and white. Like, at least they've done something with it.
So bad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Come on, let's go on to the next 8.
Next 8, so we've got 24 is the Pittsburgh Steelers, 23 is the Chicago Bears, 22 Buffalo Bills, 21 is the Kansas City Chiefs, 20 is the Jacksonville Jaguars, 19 is Minnesota Vikings, war crime, 18 is the New England Patriots, and 17 is the Miami Dolphins. I am way out on all of these. Just going to say that now, because it's a ludicrous list. Just putting this out there, I don't agree with this at all. Other than,
mate, I can see the fact that you've got Dolphins at 4.
It's so nice.
They've come in at 17, and I had them 16. And I actually pre-warned Cal before we did this. I was like, don't be biased. Please don't be biased. And that's because I probably agree with you. I love the Dolphins jersey. I love the shade of aqua. I love its simplicity. If we'd have been looking at just best kits of each team, it was the aqua throwback of Dolphins, it'd have been number 1, because it's stunning.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if there's like almost a negative bias against myself with this one, but yeah,
I think you shot yourself in the foot there.
4.
Yeah, I really like it. And you'll when we get to the last 8, shall I say, you'll see that my top 8 have one thing in common with it. And I rate that Dolphins jersey. I really do. The Pittsburgh Steelers one being, what did we get that at 24? I had that at 26. I think 26 is lucky. I think it's a real bad jersey. I'm not going to lie to you. The Chicago Bears one, that's an awful. Callum had that at 14. How on earth is that 14? It is horrendous. Like, just not for me on that. Buffalo Bills at 22.
I really struggled with the Bears. I think they were one that I kept moving up and down, and I just couldn't quite get them. Like, I don't think it's little things like the shade of navy, if you call it navy. I don't know what they'll call it, but if you call it that, and then I almost feel like the stripes are like almost too small. I really struggled with them. And then the random numbers in the stripes, and I'm sure they mean something, but they just look poorly placed. I think they could be somewhere else. Just going back to my point of like not being biased, I just had a little glance then while you were talking. Now, on the screen right now are all 3 of our teams. So Steelers, Patriots, and Dolphins. Up the Dolphins there at the top. However, what's really, really interesting is I said, don't be biased. So Cal put Pittsburgh Steelers 16th, right? That's bang in the middle of the 32.
Yeah.
I put the Dolphins 16th, bang in the middle of the 32.
Oh, yeah.
And you put the Patriots just one higher at 15th, pretty much bang in the middle of the 32. It's almost like we were all actively trying not to be like twats about it, and just you might need to bleep that one out and post. I'm sorry, but
I don't mind it. I don't mind the Patriots jersey. If I'm going to be honest with you, it's not my favorite. Like there's much better ones out there for me. Like, an interesting one for anything else is the Jacksonville. When I had Jacksonville at 7, now look, Jacksonville went at 7 because I couldn't justify moving anybody below them up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're the 7th best one, but the ones below it, I couldn't justify bringing them up, if that makes sense. But I don't mind the look of the jersey. I think it's quite a clean and nice jersey. I think it screams international game, which I automatically look at and just get memories from it. And when we say, like, we said don't be biased about our team's jersey, which is fine, and we're looking on pure looks. But like at the same time, when I look at a jersey, I kind of get certain jerseys like scream out to me, give me memories, and I don't know what it is, but it makes me like the jersey a little bit more. And that Jags jersey, because I think we've seen the Jags so many times down London, it just gives me like, I quite like it. On that, now there's one here that I do want to touch on, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. I love this team. I love this jersey, right? I really do. And I do think that is the 6th best jersey in the NFL. You guys have got 23 and 24. Sweet Jesus.
I can tell you exactly why. So you're going to see this point I'm making right now is also the exact same point I'm going to make in about 2 slides. It's just an awful shade of purple. Like, I don't hate the jersey. I don't hate the styling on the sleeves. I don't hate the general uniform. The horns on the helmets, I'm not a massive fan of. I get why, but I think this is when we're looking at the whole uniform here. Right. I love the helmet, but the graphic on the helmet, I think it just looks tacky. Like, I get why they've got it. It's Viking horns. Yeah, fine. But I think it looks crap. And I think the shade of purple is just so like primary school. I just don't. I'm not a fan of it at all.
That helmet.
I think another team have done purple very, very, very well.
Yeah, and I agree. I think we're going to get into that very soon with that team. And I agree. But I take the horns off the helmet. And that helmet's perfect. I love that. I love it. And I do like that shade of purple. I think that shade of purple is quite nice and vibrant. And I think we're going to get into it from there. Right, let's move on to the next slide, shall we? Let's have a look at the next set from here. So we have now the 16 down to 9. Brad, if you want to take them away, 16 down to 9.
Yep, so we've got the newly rebranded and newly designed Tennessee Titans, which I think we'll probably come straight back to. We've got the Seahawks at 15, the Rams at 14. This is one we definitely need to look at when we look at the rankings across the 3. The New York Jets at 13, probably another one to talk about. San Francisco at 12, Dallas at 11, Philadelphia Eagles at 10, and the Bengals at 9.
So for anyone that's watching this now will have just seen my facial reaction. I think that my face said everything from this 16 to 9. Because there is some... I am seeing these, by the way. I'm seeing everybody's individual votings, right, or submissions for the first time right now. And there is some diabolical takes on this. Absolutely diabolical take. Let's go to the first diabolical take of the evening. Tennessee Titans. We've just gone on about how nice this uniform is, right? You voted it 21st. What?
I just struggle, and if I was to share my rankings, which actually might be nice for socials, actually, maybe we should do that, Cal. We'll share our individual rankings after this on socials. But for me, I just struggle with blue and red jerseys. They just bore me a little bit. However, I really like the Titans jersey and uniform as a whole. I just, like you said in your own sort of spiel, I need to see it on TV.
Yeah.
I need to see it. I do like it. It's still blue, red, and white. I find it a bit boring. If you look at my rankings, you'll see the Patriots, the Bills, the Titans, Texans, all those teams, blue, red, white. Oh, so American. I just find it a little bit boring. I'm not against any of them. Like, I way prefer Patriots jerseys now than their ones previously.
Yeah.
They're like 3 times as nice, for example. But I just find that colour combo a little bit boring. And that's all it is. It's nothing personal. I think the good jerseys, it's just, I find that mix a bit boring.
Yeah, so I had this down at 2. I love it. I genuinely, on paper, from what I've seen so far, and that's the only take I can get from it is what I've seen so far. I absolutely love it. It is right up my street. The vibrancy of it is great. I agree. I hate standard blue kits. That's why if you look at mine, like Indianapolis is down the bottom end. The red kits, or like the Tampa and stuff, they're all down together at the bottom end. I don't like just a standard. I'm going to kind of go back on my own word in a minute here, because I'm going to say I don't like a standard one-tone kit, if that makes sense. Like as in block colour kit, but I like a vibrant block colour kit. That reds just doesn't do it for me. Like the dark blues don't do it. If we were ranking the Patriots uniform on the one previous to what it is now, it'd have been 28. It weren't nice. It's not. It weren't like. I agree with you. They've gone definitely up there. I probably ranked it a little bit higher than what it were because I couldn't justify moving people up. But that Tennessee one for me, I think that's absolutely diabolical. Like your two have got 20s there. Carl's gone 26 as well. I think that's diabolical. Well, like looking at some others here, another big one is number 13, the Jets. Right, 7-4 from you two. I ranked this at 31 because this is down there. Well, this is down right down the bottom end for me. Is this no bueno? Like, not for me. Just like it's just a shit green, isn't it? Like,
no, it's a beautiful shade of green. It's a beautiful shade of green. I think what I love about this kit and this uniform as a whole, it's the simplicity. No. I love the lids. The helmets are stunning. Like, genuinely think they're really, really nice. And how many how many properly green kits do you have in the league? Not many. So when I'm talking about the boring blues, like there's a million blues, like whether it's shades of blues, aquas, teals, blues, whatever. I'm including the Dolphins in there. There's a million blue kits. And I think, one or two green kits is lovely. And I think it's such a nice shade, that Gotham green with then the bold white. I just think it's lovely. And I'm quoting researcher Cal here, and I 100% agree. It's the best thing about the Jets as a franchise.
The shade, it's not a nice. It's not a nice kit for me. It doesn't do anything for me in any way, shape, or form. It is not the one for me there, I must admit. I think the Philadelphia Eagles green is far better than it. Just a nicer shade for me. I think one of the closest ones for us is the Dallas Cowboys, where I've gone 17, you've gone 15, and Research Carl's gone 9 on that. That is a mid park. It's not for me personally. Bengals though, on the other hand. So I had the Bengals at 10, Research Carl at 6, which I think is a bit high, but yeah, you had it down at 25. I quite like that. I think the Bengals uniform as a whole is quite nice, me. But again, I'm going off of a bit sentimentally as such. But then again, I'm going because I like it because of my background. Do you know what I'm saying? Like because of the rugby league, I think makes me automatically like it.
I just find it. I find it so tacky and cheesy. It's like, I don't know. It's just the like the stripes that aren't really stripes, and they've got them on the lid. I just find it so cheesy.
But you think about it this way, right? They're one of the only teams that actually incorporate the name to the kit. Like full kit, that is, not just helmet. Yeah. Obviously, the Eagles have got eagles on their helmet, wings on their helmet. They actually incorporate it and they embrace it, and they do for all of the kits. And I know we're only doing home kit, but they do for all. I just like it, man. I think it's a real nice mix of old school and new school put together, and I think they just do it well, personally.
You know what? If it was their ice, do they call them ice white or snow white kits, where it's a white out? I must admit, like, despite the stripes and stuff, it is stunning. I do like the all white Bengals kit. I do, but the orange and the white and the black stripes and stuff. I don't know. I just find it a little bit cheesy. Maybe 25's harsh. I don't know. And you're right in what you're saying. I appreciate the fact that they're taking on the branding because it's quite easy to do, isn't it? But I'm just not. I don't know. It's just never been one for me. The white out kit is stunning because all white is stunning, to be fair. But it's just not for me. Like, I don't know. It's interesting that you've got them really high, and actually the last two, so Eagles and Bengals, that you had pretty much on the money, just the wrong way around, didn't you, as an average?
Yeah. It's. But hey, look, it's all down to personal preference. What I'm excited for is the top 8. So let's get into the top 8. Let's have a look at these and see where we went from these. So over to you, mate. I'll let you have these top 8. What we got?
So we've got the Las Vegas Raiders at 8. We've got the Green Bay Packers at 7. You've had a stinker there on them too, Zach. You've got the Denver Broncos at 6. Wow, Cal. The Detroit Lions at 5, which I think Callum has sorted out for the rest of us. I mean, it'd be easy to do. No one knows who he is. We could just get someone else in and just call him Research Cal.
Lions, wow.
The New Orleans Saints at 4. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 3. Got that one on the money. And then you've got the Ravens at 2. And the Chargers at number 1.
Can we just rewind about 5 minutes? And you said don't like these standard red coloured uniforms, right? Blue coloured uniforms are just a bit meh for me. And you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ranked at 3. Give it a rest.
It's not,
come on.
Because it's not a boring red, and it's not it's not with blue or white. It's like a really nice shade of red with that sort of pewter grey. It's gorgeous. It's the combo. It's the full uniform. That pewter with the sort of burgundy red. It's stunning. It's the full package, and it's so simple. It's simple.
It's another word beginning with S is what it is, right? I don't. It's not the bottom 4. I know that, but it's definitely not. The fact that it's in top 10 is diabolical. And another one, the Green Bay Packers, that being in top 10, Jesus, like what on earth? No, not for. I had them down at 22. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is a shot from me there, but no. I'm not a big lover of the old. I'm not a big lover of that. There is actually, this top 8 has got some wild numbers in from all 3 of us here. So obviously, like you went with the I mean, Carl went with number 5 for the Buccaneers as well, but you went for 3 for the Buccaneers there. The Broncos, right? If I will touch on the Broncos in a second, I want to talk the Detroit Lions. How have they made it above the Broncos for 1 and number 5? I'll tell you how. Because researcher Cal has put them at number 2 on his rankings. What on earth? It's just ludicrous. 2. Give up, man.
It's absolute madness. They are boring. Like a really boring shade of like, I don't know, even like sky-ish blue. It's not even sky blue, it's sky-ish blue.
Yeah.
With that like Honolulu blue now. Honolulu blue. Like Honolulu blue? You're from Detroit.
Yeah.
Why are you calling it Honolulu blue?
Exactly.
It's like, come on. It's ridiculous.
That's that. I mean, I know it's each to their own, it's all personal choice. But guys, let us know in the comments right now. Is researcher Carl right? Is the Detroit Lions? I mean, we've brought the average down here, Brad, to 5, but research Carl's got it at 2, and I think that's absolutely shocking. For me, no. Go on, sorry.
Let's just, shall we, if it's all right with you, let's just touch on. Well, actually, I'm going to make one bragging right here, by the way. The top 8, by the way.
Yeah.
All the teams that I voted in the top 8, except 1, are in the top 8. Just saying. But swiftly moving on, shall we touch on each of our number 1 votes?
Yes. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. I'll gladly go first. So I referred to it earlier when we were talking about the Vikings. I talked about a rubbish shade of purple. And I did flip. I won't lie. There was sort of like a few in the mix, and then I narrowed it down, and I think I had my top 2 the other way around originally. So my top 2 are the Ravens and the Chargers, but I put in the end number 1 as the Ravens, and I think it's just because they have a really simple kit, but I love the different elements of it. I love the shade of purple.
Mm-hmm.
I love black. Like black's great. So and that black goes perfectly with that shade of purple.
Yep.
I think their Ravens logo on the helmet is simple and it's solid. But I love that they've got the shield on the sleeve. I just like that they've got all these different little elements that just naturally complement each other. And even their away and their third kit, all are stunning, all really, really well done, really simply done. But I think the way they do it is just really, really effective.
I fully agree with you. Up until this past probably 2 years, the Ravens have been my number one, always been my number one with like not just their jersey design, their merch. I love that. I love purple's one of my favourite colours. I absolutely love it. I think it's and I got it at 3. I got it at 3, and it was number 2 up until that Titans jersey coming out, and my number 1, because of just the revamp of kind of the vibrantness of it, which we'll get into in a second, it has taken that top spot. But I mean, for me, I look at the Ravens uniform, I see the shield, and I don't know why, but in my head, I just think Ravenclaw from Harry Potter every single time I see that shield. Don't know why I do, but I just think it. But like, I genuinely do. I could have had any of my top 3 at number 1 easily. And if you'd have asked this 2 years ago, the Ravens would have been the number 1. I'm happy it's at top 2. I really am. Going to jump into mine now. And I had the Denver Broncos there. Purely, orange is my favourite colour. I love the orange. I love how vibrant that orange is. I just like the kind of how much it pops. And I think they're starting to wear it well recently. And I could be completely wrong here. It might just be my eyes changing, or just the fact that I've got a better TV at home now. But like 5 years ago, that orange seemed to be a bit darker and a bit more dull. And now for some reason it just feels more like an actual orange. Like, I don't know, like when you get a can of Fanta in Spain and you pour it out in your glass, it's that orange in your cup, and you're like, now I know what I'm drinking here. You know, I love it. It just pops to me really nice. And yeah, I'd be dead happy to kind of represent one of them knocking about. I'm not going to lie to you, for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a really solid uniform. And I mean, I had it at 8th, but I'll be honest, like my top sort of 3 to sort of 7 or 8. God, it sounds like you're in a hurricane, mate.
I know,
3
sorry.
to sort of 7 or 8. I think I moved around about 3 or 4 times. I think Broncos have been up at like 3, down to 9th, up to 4th. That, like, it was a tough one, to be fair. And I think they really love uniforms. Callum's questioning the shade of blue. He said navy blue. Orange doesn't go in navy blue. I mean, first of all, massively disagree. But he prefers the bright blue. That's fair. That's a fair comment. But so Callum's number 1.
So just before we get into Callum's number 1, just for reference here, you had Ravens at 1, I had them at 3. You had Broncos at 8, I had them at 1. So they're relatively close, top 10. Callum had the Ravens at 20. Callum had the Broncos at 27. For people that don't know Callum, they would just think that he opens his wardrobe and it's just beige. Like, Jesus. I have a bit of zazz about you, dude. Like, come on. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure Callum opens his wardrobe. I'm pretty sure his mum sets out his clothes every morning on his bed. But we won't share the profanities that he's sharing right now. So Callum's number 1, swiftly moving on, bless him, is the Chargers. And hands up, I had him at 2nd. I think it's 5, a stunning jersey. So Callum, to quote, has said the bright blue and the yellow go so well. Powder blue is classic and it just fits the team and their marketing so well. When mixed with the really bright yellow, it's almost like they've tried to market, these are my words, it's almost like they've tried to market themselves as the LA Rams. But like, I do agree. Like the kit is lovely. All the different iterations and combos of their uniform is really lovely. To be fair, it's it's a definitely big improvement on a couple of years ago. Again, more of a navy than that lighter blue, and it's more vibrant now. Probably goes with the personality of the team a little bit more as well.
Yeah,
As did
I
the
agree.
old one with Philip Rivers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a solid uni, and we all had them fairly high. You had them 5, I had them 2, and Callum had them 1, which is why they've averaged out at a 2.6, so number 1 overall.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I like it. I'm same boat as you, where it was my top 5 or so were just in various different orders a couple of times, and no, I dig that, and I think, if you like these lists, by the way, guys, if you want us to do power rank anything else, like whether it's away kits, third kits, alternate kits, whatever, or just a stadiums or whatever you want us to do, let us know. It's been fun kind of deep diving into this, and like Brad said earlier, we're going to share our results on our socials, so please go head over to @ABNFpod across all your socials, get involved with them. We want to know what your power rankings are. How wrong was we? Oh, no, I was right. How wrong were them two on everything else? Across these, the colourblind guy was right. Okay, in the jerseys, we'll go with that. But yeah, I quite like that list. I must admit, it were very funny indeed. But we're going to move on, if that's okay. Unless you've got anything else you would like to say regarding the uniforms, my man.
No, let's go.
Perfect. Right, we're going to get into our latest feature, our latest recurring feature, and it's a Can't Speyk, get him off, ref, where we're going to talk to you all about the rugby league from this week. So if you're new to the show, every week we'll deep dive into, we'll just touch the surface a little bit on the rugby league scores from this week. Me and Brad are quite big into our rugby league, and I know research Cal, I believe you're getting yourself into it now, and you're starting, I think we have to do a game together soon. Pretty cool to go to. So yeah, we love our rugby league, and if you don't know or you haven't experienced rugby league, I would suggest you go check it out, because it's so much fun to watch. It's a very underrated score. But touch on these scores this week. Wigan York 23-22. Now this for me is the fairy tale in the making. I think York are they're literally 3 points, I think it is, away from being a top 3 team at the moment from drop goals that they've missed out on this year. To put Wigan, who are arguably it's not even a debate. They are the best team in the Super League right now. They are the team to beat. They will walk this league with their eyes closed. To be a newly promoted team, to put them to a point is unreal. Like, I just absolutely unreal. Did you see any of the rugby this weekend? By the way, I know you weren't really cracking this weekend, were you?
No, I've seen very little. I was wiped out for most of the weekend. Like, I tried to keep a track of the scores and things, and I think, if I'm right, for a period, York were winning, I think.
Yeah.
So no, it was a mad week last week, and then sort of came down with it a bit last week. And the main thing I am aware of, obviously, as a Cats fan, is that tragic score, which I hope we don't talk about too much. But no. I mean, for York to push Wigan to within a point is huge. It's huge for them. York for the treble. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it'd be sick. That, I mean, like they've just been caught short a couple of times, but then they're also winning the game when they need to. It's so good to see that the mood in that camp must be absolutely fantastic. Toulouse, St Helens, 30-16 to St Helens. The game back on a bit of a roll of St Helens now. I think the Toulouse bubble might be starting to pop now. They came out of the year starting strong. They were playing really well. I mean, they put a great game against us. They played well against Wakey as well at the start of the year. Since then, though, they've just been going downhill. And I believe that this week is the French derby. They're playing Catalan this week, so that'll be a massive test for them this week, as Catalan have just beaten Hull KR 26-20. So beating the defending champions going into this week, and that'll be an interesting game to see. And I think that'll really kind of show us the bar that Toulouse are at. I think teams are getting wise. They're keeping that that fullback at bay. and they've not really got much more else around to go from there. Bradford coming out 26-14 against Huddersfield. Huddersfield are not very good. They've just sacked the coach. I feel sorry for him, if I'm going to be honest with you, because it's one of them as a coach. You can't do what we can't do with what's in front of you, and I don't think he's been given a fair trial with the team that he's got. But they've got no money because they've got no fans coming into the stadium. So I just don't see Huddersfield being in a very good place in the next couple of years. So I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, 26-14.
A video I saw earlier from London. Obviously, it's the 30-year anniversary of Super League coming up, or whenever it is. And they posted a video basically like sort of saying like, like, where's London, basically. Yeah. I mean, they've had a lot of stick on there in the replies, to be fair, but there's probably an element to be said about it because London look mint and Huddersfield look tragically awful. And if you're talking about the expansion of rugby league, I hate to say this because a lot of people have said it about Cass, so I get it, but right now at the minute, over the last 2 or 3 years, you could easily say bye Huddersfield and let's get someone like London in who've clearly got a new ambition under new ownership, new leadership, whatever you want to call it. It's sad for Huddersfield. Like, they are a local team, so it'd be a shame to see, but they're just not performing, are they?
No, not at all. Not at all. And you show like the teams like York in particular and Bradford that have come up this year that, were the ones that, we've got easy wins here. We're going to beat these. They weren't that cracking championship. The levels too big of a gap between the Super League and the Championship, and now they're coming out and they're beating teams easily, comfortably. They're beating teams coming out of it. Wakey Lee, that finishing 18-14. Wakey getting back on a stride now. Lee not looking fantastic. We'll not touch too much on the Castleford score because that was tragic. It was like 34-6 at half time. I actually text you. I was away for the weekend. And I remember texting you like 34-6 at half time. What the hell? And then it got to full time and we were like, yeah, let's not talk about this. So, and we moved swiftly onto that because that's not very good. Catalan beating Ulker, which we've touched on already. Fantastic result for Catalan there. Beating the world champions, like I said, that's a great morale boost. And then FC beating Leeds. Now, that is the shock of the weekend if you take the York result out of there. Because Leeds look great. That winger, Silvo, he's unbelievable as a player. FC haven't looked great this year, but they've come out now and yeah, that's a statement to be made is that score in particular. So yeah, they're the results from this week. Fortunately, we can't give you too much more information on it. I'm not going to lie to you. I missed a lot of the rugby this week as well. A bit of a boozy weekend. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll do better, I promise. My research will be better, I promise, going into the future. Anything from yourself, Brad, on the rugby before we move on?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing the Cass and Bradford game on Thursday. I think that's going to be a benchmark game for us because we've had a couple of rubbish games, we've had a couple of really good games, so I think that'll be a bit of a benchmark. But no, a few surprise results or a few close results, but probably where you'd expect across the board generally.
Yes, sir. Right. It's time for all other balls, right? So, Brad, explain to us, what is all other balls and why do we love talking about balls?
Well, we love talking about balls because balls are great. So, all the balls is where we touch on other areas of the world of sport, and that could be tennis, it could be rugby, which obviously we've got our own rugby league feature now. You name it, this is where we talk about it. And we have been known to not actually speak about sport. Ironically, we've not spoke about balls either. But we have spoken about other areas. So we're actually going to start this week. We've got 3 all other balls, I believe. And we'll try and keep them brief. But this year, God, I do that all the time.
Every week. You've done so well this week,
This week. is actually been the Bucks finals. So for those who aren't aware, the Bucks finals is basically a British American football. It's the university leagues. And it's been the finals today, I believe.
Yep. All day it was broadcasted on YouTube. I was lucky enough to manage to watch a fair bit of it while I was part to get ready to get loaded and stuff. Quickly, the Lancashire Rams played the Bournemouth Bobcats. Bournemouth won that 13-6. Brunel Burners versus the SGS Pride. Brunel won that 20-6. Durham Saints beating the UWE Bullets 14-6. Now, we're not going to touch too much on the games itself. It is Britball at the end of the day. It's just university. Credit where credit's due. What I do want to say is this was heavily funded by the Union Jack Classic, which is the college game happening in the UK this year, down at Wembley. And the production value on all three of these games was fantastic. So they were all held at Loughborough University, one after another. I think it started around midday, I want to say. The last game literally finished about an hour ago. And they had commentators. There were highlights. There were on-screen graphics. The commentators knew every player's name, what they were studying, the yardage that they had for the season. It was a really well-produced. And, the games weren't fantastic because the weather was very, very, very windy down there. But it was just a well-produced kind of spectacle to watch. And I'm not going to go too much into it. I just wanted to make sure we did give credit where credit's due, because me and Brad are heavily involved with British American football, and sometimes they get a lot of things wrong. And this time, they got a lot of things right, in my opinion. And it was nice to see that. And there were I think 1,000 people watching at one point, and it never dropped below 600 people watching. So yeah, credit where credit's due. Good on that one. But yeah, so story number 2 of all other balls. This one does include this balls this week from myself, and it's about a man who likes to hit balls around a table. It's about a man called Mr. Ronnie O'Sullivan. Now, look, I'm not going to be a know-it-all when it comes to snooker. I don't mind a frame or two, I must admit. And I used to watch quite a fair bit. And Ronnie's always been the man. He's always been the guy to beat. And he's so nonchalant about how he plays. He's just unbelievable. Now, I always thought the highest break you could get in snooker was a 1-4-7. It's where you put all the reds and all the blacks, one after another, and then you go through the colours afterwards. Well, Ronnie decides he's one better than this. Well, actually, no, technically he's 6 better than this, because Ronnie's come out of the weekend, just gone. He was playing in a tournament, and he got a 1-5-3 break. Now, just to go through what a break is a continuous amount of points totted up, right? And to get this, his opposition that he was playing against has fouled, so he's missed the ball, but he's snookered Ronnie off of a foul, which means that Ronnie O'Sullivan then has a free ball, which means he can hit any ball on the table and it will count as a red ball. They can hit the black from after there, which meant that his break actually started on what would have been 8, because he got red and a black, so his break actually started on 8. So we went through and ended up putting 15 reds, 13 blacks, 2 pinks, which made it up to a 1-5-3. Now, the highest, if you get a free ball, by the way, the highest you could ever get is a 1-5-5, so it's literally 2 points off, and it's never been done prior to this. He's won 40 grand for getting the highest break, right? And yeah, I just thought it's absolutely wild, is that, like, to get a 1-5-3 break is absolutely madness. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, he's the greatest to ever walk, and it shows when there were 2 tables playing at the same time and they have like a screen in between them, so they can't see each other playing. And when he was doing the break, the other table stopped to allow their supporters to watch him doing it, and it's a nice gesture. Is that it's just a bit of a sign of this don't happen. Credit where credit's due. But yeah, so that's my story of story 2. Ronnie O'Sullivan with his 1-5-3 break. Oh, brother, I think you're muted, my sir. Nope, you're still muted. What's going on there? It's not coming through on our side. So, Brad is not coming through on our side at this moment in time. But yeah, we were speaking briefly there about that 153. Brad is going to be touching up on...
Two. Hello.
There we go. Hello.
Hello. I have no idea what happened there.
No.
Literally no idea.
You're back now, though.
I'm back. Sorry, everybody, I'm back.
So yeah, my story there, 153 break from Ronnie O'Sullivan, done and dusted, mate. Did you see anything? Have you heard this before or not? If not, onto yours.
I'd seen a little bit about it, and I love pool and snooker. Like, I tend to have those games where I'm like sort of locked in or I'm absolutely tragic.
Yeah.
But just to see that was just mad impressive. I didn't see it live. I've just seen it afterwards, but yeah, crazy. But my final story, and I'll keep it brief, is the F1 rundown. Obviously, we know we are both quite into the F1, and we both enjoy it. And we've done 2 races so far in the season, and I think there's probably 2, maybe 3 big stories. So that's all I'm going to touch on. I think the big story from last weekend before was the double did not start from Norris and Piastri. So we had the top two drivers from last season who didn't actually get the chance to start the race because of failures between the car and the PU system, so the engine. Piastri, it's actually his second, so he's not actually started a race this year yet. And then your top 4, and this is all I'm going to touch on really. You've got a 1-2 for Mercedes and then a 3-4 for Ferrari, which is absolutely huge. Mercedes look like they're running away with it already from day one.
Yeah.
Although I have just seen this today, there's been some question marks over their front wing.
Okay.
Whether that happen, whether anything comes from that or not, I don't know. That was just on the Twitter sphere, on X and stuff. But Hamilton and Leclerc for Ferraris being up there, like really, really competing. The first race, if it wasn't for strategy, they could have probably won it.
Yeah.
And then this race to be up there from the get-go. I mean, Antonelli, once he left, he was gone and he was done. But the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place was up for grabs the whole race. And I love the new regulations.
I
absolutely love them.
I do, but Mercedes is going to get caught out very, very soon with it because they've give McLaren the engine or the power unit, and they've gone, yeah, work it out yourself, guys. We can get to full potential, but work it out yourself. I love that. It's shithousery 101. I'm all for that. I love a bit of it, but yeah. I can see it coming to bite them in the ass at some point because they're holding the cars to the chest. There's just going to be something that comes out with it, but I'm all for it, and I do like it. Now, talking of Antonelli, I watched this race, and it was a fantastic race. Bless him. Sometimes you see people on TV and you just want to give him a cuddle, and he come out afterwards, and they were interviewing him at microphone, and he couldn't get his words out because he was crying. That meant so much to that guy. Like, so much to that guy. And, Lewis were there, and, like, Bono came out to get a picture with Antonelli on his podium, and Russell stood away, got Lewis and went, get the family together, get a picture. And he got all 3 of them a picture together because obviously it's his ex-race engineer. But what I found funny was Toto Wolff in the pit lane at the end, right? There's a video circulating on X and stuff like it's been filmed with the phone. He's looking at the screen, it's 1, 2, 3, being Antonelli, Russell and Hamilton. And Toto turns around and goes, oh, it's all 3 of my drivers. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. But yeah,
I love
it's good.
Toto. He's so cool. What a guy.
Yeah. He's great. He's great. But the F1 week were fantastic to watch. If we get more time in episodes coming up, we will deep dive more into Formula One. But fortunately, the time has come where we need to be wrapping up now. So We're going to quickly touch on the Carl's conundrum for this week, mate, and from last week, if that's okay. So, Carl's conundrum, if you are unaware, guys, Research Carl will give you a question week in, week out, where you can get in touch with us via our socials and answer it and let us know what you think the answer is. We will also try and... we've been failing recently, but we can try and work it out ourselves. So last week, the week before, Research Carl gave us the Carl's conundrum of Josh Allen broke the record for the most career rushing touchdowns for a quarterback in 2025, but whose record did he break? And the answer was Cam Newton. That, now reading it, is so obvious, I'm kicking myself that I didn't get it. Absolutely kicking myself. Right, the Carl's conundrum for this week. Let us know if you know the answer. Head over to our socials and all that jazz. Comment down below. Which NFL team holds the record for the longest regular season losing streak in NFL history? Now, I feel that's a really obvious one here.
This one. I think I know
which
this one.
NFL team holds the record for the longest regular season losing streak in NFL history? Okay, if you know the answer or you think you know the answer, let us know in the comments down below, guys. Head over to our socials at ABNFpod across all your socials. Search All Balls No Filter podcast on YouTube to find our lovely faces on there, or go over to Spotify and you can see it there as well. Brad, we're done. Monster session, an hour and 30 minutes long. Anything from yourself before we sign out?
Nope, just good to be back. Apologies for last week, and I've enjoyed it. It's been nice to touch on something a little bit more superficial. And
yes. Let us know what we should do.
Pod.
Yeah, let us know what we should rank next time, guys. All right, thank you very much from myself, Brad, and Research Carl. Good night, God bless, and stay safe. Peace.
Bye bye.